Hello and welcome back to Seahawks Across the Pond. I'm Lewis. As always, I'm joined by Connor today. This is episode 6, and today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be similar to last episode, a bit more of a personal story about why we like the Seahawks, kind of our Seahawks Frankenstein, which parts of players we would put to build the ultimate Seahawk, and also what games made us sort of fall in love with the Seahawks, and the games we'll always remember, the toughest losses, the highest wins, the best games that we can remember, and sort of go through and talk about them. So jumping straight into that, Connor, do you want to start us off with a little bit of a news roundup?
Yes, thank you, Lewis. And like Lewis said, welcome back, everyone. Episode 6 now, so we're well deep into it. And if you haven't seen anything, you're more than welcome to go back and have a little watch. But yeah, this episode, like you said, is sort of a little run through, a little up to date of what we got. Just updates throughout the NFL and with the Seahawks. Then yeah, sort of a little Frankenstein, who's what, where, when, why, how players. But yeah, training camp dates confirmed. So rookies report July 17th, veterans 24th. First practice open to the public is 25th, running through to August 13th. So that's 2 and a bit weeks full of good practice that the public can see. So they'll actually get to see, what the new draft, or the new draft picks we got, and sort of the situation at running back. How good Shaheed has adapted into the new scheme fully. A Seahawk this year rather than a half Saints, half Seahawk as of last year. So that'll be pretty good. 9 practices in total, plus the annual football fest at Lumen Field on the 8th. And Back Together weekend falls on August 1st and Kids Day August 4th. So they're fun ones to for any UK fans planning trips. They are key dates to try and factor into anything. And one of the practices, we got joint practice with the Titans again. This was, I think, was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year, was it? Where we had the Titans.
Was it the Packers? Because I remember there was a scuffle and that made the news headlines as well or something.
I think it was.
I could be wrong though.
I don't know if it was the Titans or not, but yeah, we got a good little session with the Titans going on, and obviously that'll be pulled up on Hard Knocks as well, which is something I am seriously excited for. I love Hard Knocks anyway, regardless of its teams I hate, teams I don't like, whatever. I love Hard Knocks, and the fact that Seahawks are on there this year is fantastic. I mean, what do you think about Hard Knocks this year? I'll pumped it for you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see my team on there, kind of thing. The team I support. It's not usually, it doesn't really happen that often. We don't really travel a lot either, to the UK. So I've seen their one of their most recent UK games. I was lucky enough to go to that, but it's so weird to kind of see them. And I knew that under Pete it was no, we don't want any external distractions kind of thing. But I think Mike has this kind of, we'll be able to stay locked in. It doesn't matter. It's a bit of, exposure. It's a bit of fun. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. And always what I like about Hard Knocks is you have someone to root for. They always have an edge of the roster guy that you just kind of fall in love with and root for. So maybe we'll have to revisit who was a Seahawk you didn't expect to fall in love with what you did from last episode. And we'll do some great podcast episodes around Hard Knocks as well. So we'll probably talk about who we think is really good for Hard Knocks. Keeping up with it and talking about it. So really looking forward to that. And it'll be good to see how the joint practice goes with the Titans as well. That'll be interesting.
Yes, yeah, it's always something to look forward to. I just love Hard Knocks. This is there's so much in-depth things that you don't realize and don't sort of. It's one of those things that as NFL fans, it's you need to know what goes on so much, and I feel Hard Knocks does that. So it's I can't wait for it. Really can't wait for it, and it'd be good to break down, week by week what's going on in Hard Knocks, and then like you said, sort of get those players that you sort of want to get in, and them edge of the players that you just sort of try and root for that may not make the roster, but you're still I want them to, and then so yeah, that'll be good and exciting. But I'll do a quick injury and personnel check as well. Only a couple of points on this. Still nothing on Charbonnet. The progress is good. and he's obviously a player who wants to get back as quick as possible. So I think his recovery will probably be a little bit sooner than expected, but nothing major to the point where he's going to be kitted up for week 1. I still think we're looking at anywhere between week 7 and week 10 probably. So we're talking end of October possibly, which was sort of on track for him. We got Barner, McIntosh, Arroyo, Sorba, all missing the off-season program, but Barner's one was his knee injury, which he fought through last year quite a lot. So we expected him to miss a bit. McIntosh obviously coming off a big injury last year. And Arroyo and Sorbert, 2 tight ends, which will get utilised quite a lot, I think, this year. All got positive sort of updates with them as well. So not too bad of an update on the... Yeah, not too bad on the injury update. I think it's looking a lot more positive than negative, I will say.
Yeah, it would be good to have those guys back. I mean, I know they'll probably be back by the season, but that's that's your three tight ends there. So
Yeah.
we wonder what they've been going through. But yeah, a quick story about Kenny McIntosh. I actually saw a clip on Instagram over the weekend about him doing like a youth football camp. And obviously his success in like high school, college, and now like the NFL, he had all of the rings that he's won, the championship rings.
Oh yes, I did
He
see.
didn't have enough fingers. He had to like double stack, and I was thinking like, what a crazy. Considering coming to the NFL, like he was part of the team and he got that ring. But I always liked Kenny McIntosh, but he was quite underrated coming into the NFL. So it's quite funny to see like all of the rings that he has.
It's the same with was it Sundell? Sundell had a hand of rings as well from some things. So that was it's quite cool to see that, because like you said, it's not they're not standout players who sort of have got rings, and then all of a sudden they got McIntosh has got 2 hands full and Sundell's got 1. So it's quite cool to see.
Yeah, Sundell has like every like level of football. So I think like there was something like high school, college, and the NFL. Like he's got a ring on each, which is great.
What are we going on to? We got the culture. Yeah, so I mean, I've seen a few things that Mike has said. He's putting that meshes out of the run it forward thing. I mean, you elaborated on that quite a lot last podcast. It's never a run it back. We don't want to do the same thing again. We want to do better, and that's his motto. And I think he's done well from the end of last season to sort of keep everyone's heads where they need to be, and get prepared properly for the season, because I think a lot of teams have made severe pushes, like the Rams, to get that ring for next season. So I don't think if the Seahawks play like they did last year, I think they'd struggle to probably get really deep into a playoff run, because I think teams are so improving so much. So like his mentality is, it's got to be better, and I think it will be better. Run it forward format, and I think it will pay off, and I'm excited to see what he gets there.
Yeah, I think you can also see that as well from the players, because the players are they're echoing it, right, when they're talking to the media. So they're already buying into the fact of, we're not defending anything, we're not going back, we're just, we're keeping a momentum, and we're just keeping moving forward, and just being what we can be and who we can control and what we control. So I think it's good to see that the players have already bought into that. Like I said, last year they bought into the off-season program as well. They started to get up to date with that. In Mike's first kind of real instance, they were struggling to get to grips with the defense, so he kind of pulled it back and then helped them grow with it. And then what I liked from his coach as well was the stack of helmets, where it was like helmets on a spike. So he just finds a way to bring the players in with him. So I really like that.
Yeah. So this is a sort of more personal level, like last week was, of sort of where we sort of got our Seahawks love from, and what sort of players we loved, our Seahawks Mount Rushmore, and sort of a delve into us two as Seattle fans, and what made us fans. Our biggest moments, what we think, where we were for our Super Bowl wins. Did we watch the sport before that, etc. So I mean, I'll start us off with the big win over Denver, 43-8, was it?
Yeah, 40, 43-8, 42-8.
40, yeah, something like that. I mean, it seems a hell of a long time ago now, which is hard to believe because you sort of I feel like I'm watching it now, but that was like 12 years ago, something like that. You know, wasn't it 48, Super Bowl 48?
Yes, yeah, Super Bowl
Yeah.
48, and it was 43-8, yeah.
Yeah, so like running it back now, you're like, how was that like 12 years ago? But like that moment for me to watch Russ do his magic, you know, you had Baldwin making some really good runs and spinning off people, bouncing off people. You had Kurtz doing the same. You had interceptions running. You had touchbacks. You had, you know, kickoff returns. You had Malcolm Smith being an MVP. I mean, that was my first full season of watching the Seahawks. And just throughout the season, watching Cam and Earl and you know Lynch do what they want to do is something that just absolutely made me fall in love with the Seahawks, I think.
Yeah, so I was at like a really similar point to you. So I started watching the Seahawks in 2012. Was the first time where I committed time, so like trying to watch as much as the full season that I could. So for me, it was, you know, I'd grown up in a household that was interested in the NFL. So my stepdad, he was a Miami Dolphins fan. My oldest brother, he's a Raiders fan. And I kind of like stopped watching it for a while, and then quite a few years later, I was watching it. I was watching a streamer play video games, and that's what I did. And he lives in Portland, right? So his closest NFL team was the Seahawks, so he would like vicariously kind of support the Seahawks due to his geographic location. And I was just like, yeah, okay, like, I'm interested a little bit. I'm interested. I'll start to watch a couple of games, and ended up catching them whenever I could, when it was like when it was easy on at a good enough time in the UK, and just kind of continued to watch more and more. And I ended up like watching a little bit of the 2011 season, and then come rounds to 2012. I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is one that I'm gonna genuinely start to sink my teeth into. And it was when Russ wins the starting job after paying Matt Hasselbeck so much money, which was like, it was kind of unheard of. It was such a swing that they took. But yeah, and then leading up to 2013, obviously that Super Bowl, what a Super Bowl it was. Just complete blowout. What fastest score in
Fastest whatever, 6 seconds,
in
isn't
his
it? I don't know, 8 seconds, yeah.
yeah,
Ridiculous.
just crazy. And like, so every now and again, like every couple of years, I'll like, it's up on like YouTube on the NFL page for free or something. So every couple of years, I'll just go back and watch it, and I'll be like, wow, what a game, what a game. Can understand how it's probably very boring for like the rest of the NFL supporters out there, but that was a great game to watch.
So in terms of a game that maybe you could rewatch, sort of, if you had to have to rewatch a Seattle game once every month, would that be your game?
Oh, that's a close one. I think it would either be that one, or it would be the championship game against the Packers.
That's 100% mine, without a
Yeah,
shadow of a
yeah,
doubt.
with
Yeah,
the comeback and sending us to the Super Bowl. So it would be a really close one between that Super Bowl and the championship game. Yeah.
that is definitely a championship game for me. Just the they were absolutely blowing us out. We had nothing in there. We were struggling to move the ball. They were just picking us down on, beating us up on offense, and it was a case of like, what is going to happen? And all of a sudden, John Ryan throws a fake field goal pass to Gary Gilliam, who was a rookie right tackle at the time, and then we were like, right, okay, now we're going, and then we score again, and then the onside kick, and then the miraculous 2-point conversion that he throws at Russ throws to Luke Wilson. Even like the touchdown to get that 2-pointer, Lynch just like strolled into the end zone and just sort of like stopped them. Was like, no, we got a game to win. He was like, no, it's not finished yet, and it was like so cool to watch. And I just love watching that, and then Rodgers going down and tying it with a field goal that Crosby kicked, and going to overtime, and then throwing that ball to Curse, and then Joe Buck, Seattle going to the Super Bowl. I mean, that'll never ever leave my brain. I think until my brain turns off for good, and that'll just be stuck with me forever, I think.
Yeah, that was such a great game in so many ways. And like now that I was thinking about it, right, I was like, pretty much every championship game has probably been the best game of it, like within the Seahawks tenure, I guess. Like the championship game against the 49ers was like an all-time legendary game against
and
the
Rams
Packers.
last season.
The Rams last season, exactly. So like they're all like actually like better than the Super Bowl games. But I love that game. You mentioned the 2-point conversion to Luke Wilson. Just like what a crazy conversion. And I feel like it's seen more and more now. Like Caleb Williams did a similar sort of play last season where he's scrambling and he runs and he just throws across his body to the opposite corner of the end zone to a tight end as well, and catches that. But I think like at that time, seeing somebody scramble as much as Ross did and then throw it across his body to the other end was like, it was almost just like, what is this guy doing? And then it works. So he was like, at that point, he was like such a trailblazer in terms of the quarterback position. I think Russ was. And I think it's something that's not talked about enough about Russell Wilson. But yeah, like, what was it? Curse was targeted like 4 times or had like 4 interceptions in that game. And then he's the one that wins it in the end. That must have been such a great feeling. How he kept his composure and just positivity or whatnot, like as somebody who like speaks to these young guys in a game and stuff, and when they drop a pass, like it's hard for them to not like hang their head on it. So how in that game Jermaine Kearse had 4 interceptions thrown at him, and then just goes out there and wins it. Oh, it was amazing.
It's like that composure catch he had then in the next game in the Super Bowl. It just fell in his lap. He's one of those just cool guys. There's also 2 games that I want to try and remind you of, which are very, very good honourable mentions. Russ versus Mahomes at CenturyLink Field when Doug Baldwin cooked. That game was always a shootout, which is a brilliant watch. And the COVID season when we played the Patriots, when Bobby Wagner stopped Cam Newton on the line with 1 second to go. Them 2 games are always very, very good shootouts to me as well, because Seattle had the lead in both of them and almost lost it in both of them, but they always found a way to win. And them 2 games are always standout games for me as well, which we've had good wins. Like look at Pittsburgh last year, that was like a really solid win, but it just doesn't feel the same when you sort of you have a Hall of Famer like Wagner making that goal line tackle against a potential another Hall of Famer, and it was literally like 2 seconds or 1 second left on the clock, and it was this play decides the game. Like they're really good feelings, and they're probably, I'd say, the 2014 championship, the Kansas game, and the Patriot game is probably like my top 3. I love the blowout we did against the Patriots in the Super Bowl and the Broncos in the Super Bowl, but I think as a game that would get your heart going, but for the right reasons, I think it's those 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I love the close games, and something that like being a Seahawks fan is all about is like, hold on a second, especially like, yes, it does happen a lot, and especially during that kind of early Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll era with the Legion of Boom at its peak and stuff. It was always just like, oh man, there's a minute and a half left with no timeouts, and people were like, oh, this game's in the bag, and I would literally just be stood there, hands on my knees, like stood up, nervous, like, hold on a second, something can happen here. If we can do it in a championship game, we can, we can pull something out here, down a touchdown or something like that. And it made me like just live with that feeling, like that constant and heightened heart rate, watching Seahawks games. I joke, my girlfriend's only been sort of watching like the NFL for probably the last like 2 years really, and she always jokes, it's like, why can't they just give you a blowout game where you can calm down? And I'm like, it's just not in the Seahawks nature,
No.
Like it's always nerve-wracking. Like the blowout game, not the blowout, the the intense back and forth battle between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season.
Yeah.
That was a great game. Of course, the Rams won. Always close battles. These so, and man, it's just in our nature to have really close games.
Yeah, and I think going on to the latter end of this feeling, I think heartbreak games. I think there's only one ever, and I don't think nothing will ever come close to Russ throwing to Malcolm Butler at the goal line. I just don't think that'll ever be topped in any circumstance or any situation, because with seconds left, just run it in or do a very conservative pass, not a pass inside to a heavy trafficked area, and you've got the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that will always. I don't think that'll ever be topped. I don't think, purely because the heartbreak I felt for that was. I mean, I don't know. I just can't even speak about it. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, like Richard Sherman's face during that moment just kind of sums it up.
It all.
Right. So that one's such a tough one. And like obviously I know the pass goes right, but on the left side, Lynch just kind of like walks into the end zone. And I've read a lot about that play call. Famous Daryl Bevel play call as well. And it was designed first time they'd ever ran it in a game that outside of practice, and it was designed to have like be win against man coverage on one side and zone coverage on the other side. So I think Lynch's side of the ball, where he's behind Doug, is the man coverage side. Doug just blocks that for him and he walks into the end zone, and then the right hand side of the play is zone. But you've got the ball's going to the third or fourth guy in your depth chart, and there's like quotes from Doug Baldwin being like, when we called the play and he runs over to the left side of the field, he's just like, oh man, like why is it not me? Why is it not somebody else? Like that, why is it?
I'm sure it was Ricardo Lockett, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was. I mean, Chris Matthews had a hell of a game.
Yes.
Game.
Yeah.
Doug Baldwin is incredibly reliable, and Kirsch has come up with a clutch pass. He's probably, his energy and his excitement's probably through the roof.
Yeah.
There's three people you could have easily given that ball to just, like I say, be a bit more conservative. Like, why, you could throw that jump pass to Matthews, and if it doesn't get to Matthews, then overthrow it a touch. And if Matthews doesn't get it, then you go again.
Yeah.
You don't want to put that in there, because they had timeout as well.
The clock was an issue there. So
it was not an issue. So you could have easily maybe gone for the big shot with Matthews, or a fade to Baldwin or something if he's on his own in cover one. But it was that area of field was so heavily trafficked. It was pointless.
Yeah,
it just seemed pointless. I mean, the only way you do that is if you run up the gut or do two very conservative routes with Matthews or Baldwin. And
do you think that the play beforehand, where they tried to run it up the middle and Lynch got stuffed, do you think that was in their head? Like for me, I'm making them know I'm throwing it, right? So I'm running the ball until it's fourth down, and then they're going to say, well, we know you're passing. It's like, well, great. Like, I'm not taking the ball out of Marshawn Lynch's hands.
No, I don't think there's a way. It was second down as well. Like you say, that's fourth down territory. You're not going to kick the field goal because it doesn't do nothing. We're down by 4.
Yeah.
So, for me, I think they run the first one because they didn't know if Kurz caught the ball. They should, the second one, possibly run again, see what happens. If it's stuffed, maybe pass. If it's a yard or two, probably run. And if you do get 1 or 2 yards running, you've got like half a yard to go. So, like you said, I don't think you take that ball out of Lynch's hand, because the likelihood of him being stuffed 4 runs in a row is very unlikely. And the likelihood of a ball being tipped, a ball being intercepted, a ball being underthrown, overthrown, etc. There's just more the numbers game, the percentage game works in the run game in that situation, and they know the run game is coming, but you might know it's coming, but try and stop it. So it was just a mess. It was just a mess, really. I think, and like I say, I don't think that'll just live in our hearts and brains forever. And we've had some horrible losses where the Panthers went to the Super Bowl and beat us in the playoffs. They beat us heavy, and we were in the game, but not nowhere near in the game to the point where we were going to win it. And that was a sickening loss. But I just don't think I'll ever feel what I felt when I saw Russ throw that pick to Malcolm Butler.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. There's like a handful of like playoff losses. I can't remember the year exactly, but there was a playoff loss, I think, like a couple of years after that against the Cowboys in like the wild card rounds. And I hate the Cowboys with a passion. So like it's so interesting, or like it angers me. Like we lost that game, and then the Cowboys got like knocked out the game after, kind of thing. Whereas at least with the Panthers, like you got beat by the better team there. Like they went to the Super Bowl, you know, that is what it is. They had Cam Newton, who was just a beast. Yeah, Luke Kuechly. Like it was crazy. But yeah, like a loss against the Cowboys where they just went and then got beat the next week, like hurts, but nothing hurts as much as that one Super Bowl win, because that could have changed the whole franchise forever. That could have, made them into a dynasty. Who knows what happens with the Legion of Boom? Does it still have its flaws where it starts to crumble and disintegrate after that? Like, obviously, all of it is like you never know. But I think when you win 2 back-to-back Super Bowls, that loss was just, like a stake going through the heart of the Seahawks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. But yeah, I mean, we've said our highs, we said our lows. But I think one good thing about we could get into is sort of our life in the UK and how sort of we support these teams and what's there for us to support these teams, where's places to go, things like that, and the time zones and challenges that we face, because the games over there are very early. Even 8, 8:15 for Sunday night or Monday night football or Thursday night, wherever, it is still early. I mean, it finishes at like 11 o'clock, but in the UK it finishes at like 4 a.m. minimum. Yeah. So, there is that struggle for us in terms of that. But, 6 o'clock on a Sunday, which is 1 o'clock for the US, I mean, that's something I so look forward to every single week. It's like, get everything done by 6 o'clock, because 6 o'clock I am ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm the same. So, we've mentioned this in previous episodes. So again, if you haven't listened, go back and start from the beginning, pretty much. But you used to play it and you coached a little bit. I coach actively at the moment, and at that time of year, it's like university ball, right? So the games around there finish around like 4 or 5, and then you chat to your guys after the game, you decompress, and you tell them to enjoy it if it's a win, or kind of hang your head for 24 hours and get over it the next day and come back to work. And it's always just like, go and watch the game afterwards. That's like our message, is like, just go and turn on Red Zone wherever you can. Which you mentioned, like how do we watch it and stuff like that. I love 6 p.m.s on a Sunday. It's just, come on, Scott Hansen, let's put Red Zone on. I'll absorb everything that I could possibly absorb. At 6 p.m. And for West Coast teams, that's 10 a.m. For East Coast teams, it's 6. So it's usually the East Coast teams that you're sort of watching in that time. And then they have 2 more sort of kickoff times, which is 9:05 UK time, which is when is that? Is that
5:04?
Yeah, and then you've got like 9:15 kind of thing, 9:25. They come down to, and those ones are good. They finish around about midnight UK time.
Yeah.
And then, but like you said, the prime time games, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, they all start at 1:30, 1:15, whatever time that they kick off over there. And like you said, they finish around 4:30 in the morning. So I was lucky. Like last year, I managed to like watch all of the primetime playoff games. and it was crazy to sit there and watch them live. I remember just sort of celebrating in silence with the Rams 2-point
Yeah,
conversions and
I
stuff,
mean,
like trying not to be loud or anything like that. So it is crazy. But how do you watch them?
sort of same as you, really. I mean, sort of like, I get stuff done, get ready for 6 o'clock. I try and, once the early window's done, I sort of like delve down into sort of like nighttime mode. Um, I like the second window then because it's usually good games in the second window as well. It's usually
Yeah,
the slightly better games sometimes.
usually our
Um,
games as well.
yeah, so it's that I like that window purely because of it's sometimes it's slightly better football and the Seahawks are in there as well. So I like it. But yeah, prime time's a hard one. I mean, up to last year, I pretty much tried to watch games where and when I could.
Hmm.
Um, all the primetime games in playoff, I think, apart from like a couple AFC ones, I managed to pretty much watch all of them. And I remember watching, like you said, celebrating in silence with the 2-point conversion, celebrating in silence when we absolutely, you know, what's the thing? Did get the belt out for the Niners.
Hmm.
We whacked them with a belt for that one, and then to watch the Rams in the championship game because that was still like 11 o'clock kickoff maybe, so it's still like 2 o'clock in the morning. It finishes for us half two, 3.
Yeah.
So it's still, it is quite a commitment for us in the UK to watch the games, and I think that's the sort of difference between having fans and having the people who just want to randomly watch the sport. Because when your team is on, you try your best to watch them, and sometimes it's not doable because the time, but 99% of the time it is. But I tend to like watching in my own space as well because
Hmm. Yeah.
I just like the like no distractions and things. I like watching like that because we don't have a lot of like in South Wales we don't have a lot of places where there's like not like a club but like a gathering of people to watch Red Zone or to watch big games.
Yeah. There's not like
Um,
NFL sports bars kind of thing.
yeah, so I mean in London it's a slightly different. I mean
Hmm.
when we went there is like some bars sort of dedicate themselves to NFL and stuff,
Yeah.
which is good, and it's nice to see. I've been to one myself when I watched the Giants and Packers where the Giants won in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we went back and watched Red Zone after that, and that was really really cool just to have the vibe of it wasn't just fans from England. There was like people from like Germany. There was like some
Yeah.
people from the States there. It was quite good to see and be part of. Um, but that's just one thing I think is lacked in Wales is sort of the NFL is big in Wales, but it's not to the point where sort of there's like a lot of places to go and places to sort of be involved in.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's sort of like the lack of things that we have, but it's still to me. I like I said, I still like my own company. I still like my own space when I watch NFL purely because I really like to watch it. Like I don't want to be like with people talking to me all the time or in like pubs where it's really loud. So I like my space to watch it because I like enjoy watching it, and that's one thing that'll always live with me forever. I just enjoy so much. As soon as I can see Red Zone and Scott Hansen on my TV, it's just like I'm in enjoyment mode for the next 6 hours.
Yeah. So I want to add on to that, but at first I got a question. When the Seahawks play, do you continue watching Red Zone or you just watch the Seahawks game?
So I multi-screen.
Okay.
So I got Red Zone on, I got the Seahawks
Hmm.
on. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're out of correlation. So sometimes
Yes.
on Red Zone, Scott Hansen's going, the Seahawks have just scored. And like the Seahawks may not have the ball on my screen. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Like when Ernest Jones took it like 85 yards, it's like Minnesota had the ball on one screen, and then all of a sudden, next minute, like the Seahawks celebrate. I was like, what's going on? Next
Hmm.
minute, Ernest Jones picks her off, bang, up he goes.
Yeah.
So I do I like multi watching as well because it's same with like football and things as well. I like I just like know what's going on. So I like watching Red Zone up until the Seahawks are on, or if the Seahawks are on at 6, which is quite rare. And then I just like having to see everything as well as the Seahawks at the same time. Like that's something
Yeah.
like what I quite enjoy, and I'll probably try and stick to as well.
I'm the same. I'm the same. So usually I'll either just watch the Seahawks game or I'll put it on Red Zone something that bothers me is for those of you who don't know. So I personally I watch it on DAZN. But if it's on Sky, which I imagine we probably will be this year, and we was quite a lot last year, it's blacked out on DAZN to watch, so you can only watch it kind of through Red Zone in that sense. So you can't specifically watch the game. So that's a bit of a bummer. So hopefully that doesn't happen too much this year. But sometimes it's great because a lot of people will have a Sky subscription, so being able to kind of watch it on Sky TV or Sky Sports and the Seahawks on there, that's pretty great for them. It's just not great for those of us who use DAZN to watch it. But I'm the same. I will watch it in the comfort of my own home. I did get invited to like a Super Bowl party with a couple of some coaches I work with, and I rejected it. I said if it wasn't the Seahawks, I'd probably be there. But you know, I have my superstitions. I have those like TV lights that go around the back of it, and I have like Seahawks colors that end up like going on the TV. I had last year specifically. I had superstitions. But I had to wear like a specific pair of shorts and a quarter zip, and then we won every game. And I was just like, so like I did that. Yeah, so I cook a nice meal for it, especially Red Zone being 6 o'clock. It's perfect, dinner time. You cook something nice. So yeah, I did the Super Bowl from my house, and I'm very much the same. Like maybe a couple of times during the season, or maybe if it's a bye week or something like that, I will go to somewhere in London to watch like Red Zone and be around people who are like-minded kind of thing. And obviously we're not being paid or anything by promoting this, but there's a really great chain of sports bar in the UK called Passyunk Avenue. They're a Philadelphia sports bar, and they play Red Zone, and they're an Eagles sports bar and everything like that. And they have some really good food there. So usually that's where I'll go. I'll go to one of the Passyunk Avenues in London and watch that. So, but yeah, I'm the same. When the Seahawks are on, I'm just watching the Seahawks. I multi-view things as well because it's great for fantasy one, and I like seeing what other teams are doing. So I like being completely in the loop. Shall we? Do you have any more of these that you want to go through, or do you think we move on to our sort of Frankenstein of a Seahawk and building the perfect Seahawk?
Yeah, I think it'd be quite cool to go on to the Frankenstein, the sort of
cool,
the multiverse players.
So I've seen this a couple of times through, and ex NFL players will be asked like, you have to have like the legs of one guy and the arm of another. So I guess let's just start. We've gone a little bit further and talked about maybe like motivations and other parts, extracurriculars, if you will, about that as well. But let's just start with the legs. And I feel like we're both going to be on the same page with this one. But building the legs of our Seahawks athlete, who have you got there?
Robbie Lynch.
Yeah. That one's a layup, isn't it?
It's just his power running. I mean, the way he runs is so. It's not straight. His legs are sort of like so wide apart, and it makes him so hard to tackle. So I think that was just stone cold, easy.
Yeah,
Lynch.
They never stop moving.
No.
So yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. Marshawn Lynch definitely for the legs. And then let's go to the hands. So this one we're thinking receiver here, or maybe DB. I don't know. Depends how you're an ex-DB, so maybe you're inclined that way.
I mean, I think a lot of DBs for us have had good hands. Sherman's had good hands. Baldwin's good hands. Even some of our linebackers have had good hands. But I'm going to go a little bit rogue on this one, and I'm going to say Jimmy Graham.
Ooh, wow, that is rogue.
Because even though JSN is unbelievable with his hands, I just felt like anything you throw at Jimmy Graham, he could just box people out, and it's just be like, no. If I was a Pittsburgh fan, I'd say like Darnell Washington. That's the sort of guy you like size and physique and hands you want is someone of that but Jimmy Graham for me, I mean that guy caught so much, and he was trustworthy, I think is the main thing of that. Not to say that JSN or Doug isn't, but I think Jimmy Graham is probably my hands.
I think both of those two guys you just mentioned as well are honorable mentions for the legs, right? Like JSN and Doug Baldwin were fantastic, mostly slot route runners. So, but obviously, like Marshawn Lynch's power, you got to get it going to him. But yeah, I'm not sure if you also saw that somebody tried to coin JSN's nickname as the Emerald City route artist. One of the worst nicknames I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, so hands, that's a really interesting one, Jimmy Graham. I'm trying to think of like who has the most secure hands, and honestly, I'm actually having a hard time because JSN has some spectacular catches last year, and so has Doug. But I think probably one of the most, and it'll be interesting. Maybe afterwards I need to look at the statistics of this, but who has like the lowest drop rate, or the highest catch rate, I guess.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna go Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett, yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, as you know, if you talk about reliability and hands, yeah, I mean, two totally different players, but two of the same player, if you get me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew you were gonna say it. As soon as you said sort of reliability and sort of hands, then I was like, he's gonna say Lockett.
Yeah. So yeah, although I did just look at it, and JSN does hold the Seahawks franchise record for highest catch percentage at 71.8%. Yeah, so actually no, I'm wrong. That was Google's AI overview showing me the wrong record. So that's a career record, but a single season record. Tyler Lockett holds the team's record for an 81.4% catch rate. So yeah, Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I mean,
Bets fans
can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. So onto the arm. I think we're going to be pretty unanimous on this one as well.
It's probably Russ's moon ball.
Yeah. Yeah, the moon ball is incredible. I've never seen anybody put it in a breadbasket quite like that, man. You know, Matt Hasselbeck had like great leadership as well. He had good pocket presence, great accuracy as well. But I don't think like I would take Russ's moon ball over.
Absolutely, I think I think
pass.
Yeah, I think I take Russ's moon ball, deep ball over anyone. I think. Yeah, pretty unanimous one there, I think. And I think we're probably talking very unanimous on the next one as well. The trash talk, the sort of you know, who can back up their game. And I think you could probably ask every Seattle fan in the world this question, and I think this guy will be answered 99.99999% of the time. There'll be one person who says something by mistake, I think. So it's got to be Sherman.
Yeah, Sherman's up there, simply because of like his ability to back up as well.
Yeah,
I would put Devin Witherspoon. Devin Witherspoon's a huge trash talker. He keeps it in bounds as well, kind of unlike Reek Woodland. But the thing is, I don't think, as much as I do love Devin Witherspoon, I don't think he has like the stats to back it up. Like, you know, he hasn't delivered the 49ers championship game level trash talk. So unanimously, it's Richard Sherman there for sure.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think we're talking very unanimous in the next one as well. You know, if anyone's seen our I think it was episode 4 maybe or 5. I think it was 4.
I think it was 5.
Or 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Where, you know, the hitting / physicality of a player, one of my favourite players ever is got to be Bam Bam.
Yeah. Cam Chancellor's there.
He's
I'm trying to think of somebody else to like kind of make it a little bit different, and it's generally hard. So I'm going to try and think of somebody, and you talk a bit more about Cam Chancellor whilst I try and think.
I mean, it was just undeniable. That was for me. Just, you know, what that guy. If you saw him coming downfield, I think you'd have a massive fear of what the hell is going to happen. I mean, you look at Vernon Davis. He put Vernon Davis in a grave. And Vernon Davis is not a small guy. I think Vernon Davis could easily put us in a grave. And Cam Chancellor did that to him, pure legal as well. So, like, what that guy did, if you want someone to knock the crap out of someone, ring Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, so I took that time to just try and think, and I was thinking through, and I was obviously thinking defense and physicality, and I genuinely don't know if I have anybody that rivals Cam Chancellor. I was thinking Bobby Wagner, but like he's just, I think more than physical, he's just such a smart linebacker.
Yeah,
So I don't think it quite works the same. So yeah, I'm gonna join you, and I'm gonna say Cam Chancellor
yeah.
for physicality.
I mean, it's hard with it, with what we're going on to next as well, because you're talking statistics. But I think we'll agree on this one. But I think we'll spice it up by saying a play that we've watched as well.
Mm,
So this one is the technique, sort of, or the sort of the way that someone plays in the offensive line. So who will we be as our Frankenstein player? And I think we're both very unanimous in Walter Jones.
yeah.
But I think, like I say, we'll spice this one up a bit and we'll go a bit more modern. Um, now my turn to think. I mean, there's some very good shouts. I mean, Dwayne Brown was good. Max Unger was good. Charles Cross and Abe Lucas again, very good.
I think we could even open this up to be like just like not even just offensive lineman if you didn't want it to be just offensive lineman, but who do you watch and just say, man, everything he does is by the book? Who is the most technically sound Seahawk that
I
you've ever
mean,
seen?
one thing I could sit there and watch all day is someone pressing Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, same thing again. Same
Honestly,
again.
I could
Yeah,
sit there and watch someone press him all day, because within a split second, their nameplate's behind them. So if you're talking like someone who can technically just like outwit someone, I
mhm.
mean, he'll never be as good as Devontae Adams, but he's almost there. His
Yeah,
release, they're both, the releases are phenomenal. So I think if we're talking pure technique, I'll go Doug Baldwin. Um, but yeah, I think offensive line's quite a hard one, but Max Unger was flawless. Dwayne Brown, even though he was coming to the end of his career, was very good.
yeah.
Um, Charles Cross has come on very, very well. So it's a bit of a hard one, but I think if we're going for technique, I got to go Doug Baldwin, just the way he embarrassed people at the line.
Yeah, and I think I'm definitely in agreement with you there, but I'll sort of take technique as an O lineman as a just to make it a little bit different. But I would probably say like, I mean, it's so hard for me because Walter Jones is definitely
Yeah,
he's up there, not allowing a sack for like 3 seasons. He's got to have his technique down, and just like his feet as well. His feet were just like
yeah,
some of the quickest cinder blocks you've ever seen. So I think I'm gonna give this one to Walter Jones. And I was actually thinking like more recent. I was thinking, Gray's Abel was really
yeah.
technically sound as well. So, but I think I'll give him some more time. It'd be a bit early to give it to a rookie. So I'll go Walter Jones.
Yeah, I think that's not and any of these aren't wrong answers. There's so much. It was
No.
like that Mount Rushmore. I mean, we picked players, but then players missed out, and you can only put 4 in there. You can only pick one now. So, but yeah, we got 3 more to sort of make our Frankenstein. We got the motor/pass rush.
Yeah.
So, who are you thinking for motor/pass rush?
I'm thinking now this was a hard one for me because I think like if you take away the motor from pass rush, like who was like just that guy consistently, and I'd say like in terms of motor, maybe Sherman because he was like some guy you could never turn off. He was just always going. But I'm gonna look more specifically for pass rush and for somebody who's like always been in the backfield. This was really close for me. I was going to say Cliff Averill, but I'm gonna say Leonard Williams. Because I feel like the way he pass rushes and with Mike's defense about how they're not about like shedding a tackle and filling a gap. They're about penetration into the backfield and TFLs, and that's how they play. I think like that guy is just always having an impact somewhere along the defensive line. So I'm gonna go Leonard Williams.
Yeah, I think I was actually going to join you on that one with Leonard Williams. I was debating an old schooler like Cliff, maybe, or like you say, someone whose motor doesn't stop, like Earl. I mean, Earl was everywhere. He didn't never stopped. But I think Leonard Williams has shown this year he is an all-pro level. He is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. He's statistically one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So I think if you asked us this question a couple of years ago, it might be different. But now, I think we're talking a prime moment of all player here. I think he shone last year.
Yeah. And the next one, who's kind of like the leader? Who's going to be the Seahawks Frankenstein, the leader, the heart of the team as well?
I mean, it's a toss-up out of two for me, either Bobby or Russ.
Oh, really?
They both got Walter Payton's.
Mm-hmm.
Russ had Rookie of the Year, and it wasn't for his what he'd done on the field. It was off the field as well, what he's done off the field, as in terms of the city of Seattle, what Bobby Wagner's done for the city of Seattle and the sport itself. I think I'm gonna go Wagner.
Yeah, I'm I'm gonna go Wagner as well, and I think you said Wagner or Wilson. For me, like, as much as I do like Russell Wilson, he was sometimes too positive. And I feel like it kind of went against his leadership qualities in a way, because I think Bobby has that kind of like he'll be pissed off if he needs to be pissed off, and Russ, as great of a quality and a skill it is to have to kind of water under the bridge and straight back out there for the next play, like, I think Bobby's leadership showed more as a Seahawk to me. So I'm going to join you there on Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's quite a solid answer, I think, as well. So for the last one, we got the clutch game. We've had many clutch moments, I think, since for the last 10 years. We've had Doug Baldwin's catch against Minnesota. We've had Jermaine Kearse's catch against the Patriots. We've had Sam Darnold in his playoff run last year.
Yeah.
This is a really, really tough question because I don't feel that Russ was always clutch. I don't feel that like JSN's proven to be clutch yet. Tyler Lockett has proven to be clutch. It's a really, really hard one, but I think maybe because of the playoff run and the fact he threw no picks and he was solid, I think I might give it to Sam for specifically that playoff run. I mean, Sam had his moments last season where he was not clutch and he cost us games. But if we're talking about a moment, not a season, I think I want to take Sam's 4-game run from last season playoffs.
I think if you're thinking about a clutch gene, right, I don't think that you can deny what Sam did was clutch. I don't think that a lot of people could go up against the Rams and do what we did. And I don't think you could do that without Sam. Something I respect as well is, like, he's just always going to throw it. Like Mike said in a couple of post games last season, that we're asking Sam to go and throw the ball. So I'm not going to be surprised where some of them are picks. Like, yes, we want less of them, but we're asking him to go out there and throw it. You'd like it if a running back never fumbled the ball, but that's just the reality of the game.
Zach Charbonnet not for us yet.
No. And for me, like, I don't know. I do like the Sam choice here, but I think, and again, like for listeners,
it was also very close to someone who I think you might say, as a clutch moment, one particular moment, I think. So I'll let you speak, and then maybe I'll go on to it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll surprise you, but for listeners as well, I think what you got to think about is the era that we grew up with. So if I'm thinking and I'm picturing in my head, like, man, what was like any time this person's on the field, I feel like anything could be possible. Again, I'm going to go with Doug Baldwin.
I did start off with the fact that Doug Baldwin's catch against the Vikings.
It's a catch against the Vikings. It's another not
wrong answer.
Yeah. Go on, you finish your point then.
I think clutch moment, one particular moment, even though he was clutch a lot of times, was Sherman's against Crabtree.
Yep.
where he went
With a sorry
to,
receiver like Crabtree.
yeah, he said to Colin, come and throw the ball at me. And he fell into his little trap, and next minute won a Super Bowl. So I think for a moment, I think Sherman's up there for it for me.
Yeah.
That Doug Baldwin cast in Minnesota, the one-hander, that was so clutch because without that, we're done. So there's so many, but I think for a moment, Sherman, but for a slight longevity, maybe a bigger moment, I'm going to go for Sam's.
I think you could say the same. You know, I mean, the game didn't end the way it did, but to lead us to that point, you could say the same about a clutch moment being Jermaine Kearse's is like butt catch or whatever it was in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, because that led us up to that interception, that possibly game-winning drive was all down to Jermaine Kearse's catch there. So that was again one specific isolated clutch moment.
Yeah, and that was quite cool. I was building sort of the Frankenstein Seahawk of getting bits of who, but yeah, that's episode 6. A touch shorter today, maybe than normal. But we've always wanted to do a show and make it just not all about news and trades and whatnot. We want to sort of include us and why we love the Seahawks, what players we love, what plays, teams, games, situations, highs, lows. We want to get it all in. We want to try and blend as much in as we can just to get to all you viewers why we love the Seahawks and what makes us fans, really.
Yeah, exactly like Connor said, a bit of an insight as to why we love the game, and hopefully, that resonates with a lot of you as well. And we'd love to hear, who your Frankenstein of a Seahawk would be, or what games, kind of made you fall in love with the Seahawks down below in the comments as well. But training camp opens on July 25th. Hard Knocks starts not too long after that. So we'll be back then with some more news as it breaks. And just a couple more fun episodes in this drought of news that is June in the NFL. But yeah, so subscribe if you haven't already, and we hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, that's it from us.
From across the pond, go Hawks.